outweighs the good intentions pertaining to bringing this hulu to the Hawaiian Islands. Okay, it outweighs it heavily. One major concern I get inside here is the vaccination process. We all understand necropsies, yeah, when whales hit the beach, and seals and dolphins and all those kinds of things. What's the process? They look for a disease, they find a disease, and they kill them. Okay? That's one of my major concerns on whether or not these seals will come over here may come across some kind of disease. I also wrote to this based upon my concerns of parvo. This island is clustered with parvo disease. And whether or not that would trigger an adverse effect on these seals, I look for legitimacies when I come to these kinds of things. I don't want to come into these kinds of meetings and making noise for nothing. But I think we need to consider a lot pertaining to the issue at hand on how we need to allow nature to take its course. Right now, the balance is totally off. Why? Because we get the fishermen, we get the Hawaiians, we get the Kupuna, we get the majority of the population. Yeah? We may as well consider ourselves minorities to this issue. Because the majority, as I'm reading, don't want it. And there's a whole bunch of reasons why they don't want it. My reasons is basically to check and double check the scientific perspective on whether or not they have legitimacies to bring these so-called things here, which they don't. Somebody needs to be held accountable for this. I don't know what Office of Hawaiian Affairs Juliana is within here, but I also serve a couple positions. I'm the chair of the Native Hawaiian Historic Preservation Council and advisory to the Board of Trustees Office of Hawaiian Affairs. I had asked for this topic to be placed on our agenda. I know that it's still in the scoping period. I was hoping that the PEIS gets on our agenda before it goes to the 45-day window period, where it only allows us 30 days to voice our opinion and voice our concerns and recommendations. Then 15 days goes to the agency for final approval on whether or not this is going to go. You have a lot of people that is premature or don't understand what is going on. In my community, I walk around the neighborhood and I ask them, you guys know about the Monk Seal recovery plan? Everybody don't have the slightest clue. In spite of the information that was provided on how many public notices that went out into the newspaper to inform the general public of this coming of this project, 4 times in the newspaper in a consecutive of 2 months. Nobody reads the newspaper anymore. Everybody too busy on the iTouch, on the laptop. They're too busy doing this kind of thing. My father don't even like read the newspaper because it's filled with animosity. So one of the key issues I hope to see that comes out of this is more transparency. To get this information out there to every community member, no matter what it takes. If you guys getting $14 billion to bring seals over here, you can spend $2 million like how Howard did, yeah? For training the how you know a boat to get the information out there to inform our people that we have some serious problems that we need to come together, we need to meet, we need to create some kind of process of ho'oponopono before this thing gets out of control. But when I talk about the liabilities, who's going to take responsibility of this? I'm going to be the first one. If something goes wrong in this, to file a class action suit. I am going to be on. Okay? Because this thing is going to rise to a level that none of us will be able to control. None of us.
Are we at the wrong meeting?
So,
I don't know who you guys are at.
but I commend you. I commend you guys for doing your very best. But let's keep the manner clean. Let's keep it straightforward.
I'm wanting to ask a question.
Yeah, I think I'm really missing something here, and it kind of goes back to your initial statement. You said your father eats monk seals.
Yes.
So first of all, why is a common lot amongst Hawaiians?
Is this, yes, I know that one of the fishermen answered, that's,
Did the Hawaiians hunt the monk seals in the old days? Did they eat them? Did they use them? What was the
that's like 10 questions in one. I'll let Uncle Les, do you want to answer what the concern is about the monk seal? He asked why fishermen don't like the monk seal.
I didn't say that.
No, he said,
He asked, he said, okay, so I'm just asking one of the fishermen if you guys want to answer. I can answer otherwise, but he asked, he doesn't understand what the resistance is from the fishermen.
I know the resistance on the Moko or Maui.
Okay.
What is your resistance or pro from Oahu that you come from?
What's the
Double
resistance,
one.
like okay, I will answer for the island of Oahu then. For someone like my father, it is the idea that the monk seals, one, were not around, so there's questions about the history. We didn't see one until he was older. The idea, exactly like that, if there's nobody in the Northwestern Hawaiian Islands anymore, why can't they stay up there? If that they eat too many fish, right? So there's a whole variety of concerns coming out of the fishing community that are very consistent, at least in my opinion, throughout the main Hawaiian Islands. My pro is like I started with. I see the situation differently. I believe the imbalance we see in the environment today is man-made. I believe that we would not have this precipice decline in the monk seal population were it not for the fact that human beings have devastatingly polluted and impacted our ecosystem. And that, I'm not looking for monk seals to rule the earth. I'm looking to at least support a population that will not be, that we're not going to be in a situation where there will be no monk seals left in 20 years. So I think, for me, it's just balance. As much as I have heard people having a lot of resistance to the monk seal, I've been in situations where I have people from different moku and apupua crying that they believe it is their amapua, it is a family member, we need to save this. In fact, we were at one yesterday. So there is a wide variety. Like Uncle Les said, every moku is different. And I think part of it is, we're not, I don't know, do you want to speak a little bit about translation? We're not going to bring 300, some of it, what's so frustrating for me is the misinformation. And I'm not sure where that comes from. And I think, for me, the community needs to know we're not dumping a cargo plane of 1,000 monk seals on anybody's island. I mean, that's not what's going to happen. We do have people on Oahu, on Nihau, other places on Hawaii Island that do want more monk seals. So part of it is to balance out all of those competing interests, to sort out the information, and to have dialogues that are not easy and have never been easy from the second this came up. I remember you from the meeting, yes.
Yeah. Wait. You know what? That's Oahu's perspective, okay? Maui's side, I'm going to tell you why. Because this person asked the question. The sanctuary over here, they're talking about expanding the horizon of the National Whale Sanctuary, which disallows Native Hawaiians traditional gathering rights under Hawaii Revised Statute 7-1. It disallows public access and traditional access for Native Hawaiians to traverse through these accesses, which is a law. Those laws are there to protect our rights. At the same time, now I'm not going to speak on behalf of the co-op fishermen, whoever else that uses this spatial area for whatever uses. But when you start bringing these kinds of things over here, we don't hate seals, we love them. And the reason why we are like this, because we know they're not going to succeed in this overpopulated mess that we live in. They're not going to succeed. It's a proven fact. History revolves itself. Everything humans create, they destroy. We're too intelligent for this environment. Nature cannot heal itself fast enough the rate that we are going. You need to think about it and look at yourself as pertaining to the environment you're in. And you're going to try to clean somebody else's house when our house is dirty? Oh, we get restrictions being placed upon us every day pertaining to what we can do and what we cannot do. And that's a human issue. Now all of a sudden we're going to bring these so-called critters over here. Yeah? The picture you showed with the boy laying down next to the monk seal. They haven't made a clear determination whether or not that's a violation or not. You can have one pig lying on a turtle. Oh, that's so lovely. But when the lawyers look at that, they look at something totally different. That's a violation. So we're going to incarcerate a little boy because he wanted to be one with the Hono? Major concerns come from Maui. And these are only surface kind concerns, but they're big issues. Big enough, yeah, to take it to a higher level. Higher level. I think we kind of a little bit have differences pertaining to what Oahu feels for the benefit of this monk seal. Maui, we love them so much. We'd rather than stay in one place with a president already when designated this area one monument where we know can go. Us Hawaiians no can go there anymore. Even with the Magnuson-Stevens Act, they tell us we cannot go. And if we want to go, we gotta go in canoe. Yeah? And if we like fish, we gotta eat them over there. I know about all these kinds of things. I know the dynamics. But bringing these kinds of things over here, oh wow, you guys like them? That's your guys' problem. You're gonna have to deal with the people over there. When it comes to Maui, I tell you, there's a majority of population who totally against this. And I'm just one. The one that's speaking up, kind of a little bit loud tonight. But with the most deepest respect, yeah. If I offended anybody in this room, call me up. Sorry.
Same here. I apologize.
Sorry, John.
No, I just got one. Well, in the beginning, it said the lobster fishermen were making them die off up there, you know. They said that the lobster guys were catching too many lobsters, that's why the seals were dying. So they got rid of the lobster guys. Then they said with the bottom fishermen up there, catching too many fish, and that's why the seals were dying. Now there's nobody up there, and they're still dying. And so it's not the human aspect, it's the fish that are. They had the cameras on the little seals, and they showed the little seals getting them something to eat, and the freaking blues coming. Whack the food out of their hands. So it's not the people, it's not human. It's not a human problem, it's a fish problem.
I guess I disagree with that because I feel like the apex and predator environment that exists up there now is because we've had 30 years of commercial fishing up there. It impacts. And I understand the confusion. I totally do. And you know, what's hard is you guys are blasting me. My dad's a fisherman. I hear that. And I understand. It's not fair. This is not, and I've written this and we've had this conversation. What we do is not easy. We don't make these decisions lightly. It's not like we pull a decision out of that hat. You know, and I understand, and it's funny. I mean, it's funny I'm getting blasted because really I'm the one often in the room with NOAA advocating for the fishermen. Because it's hard. It's not fair what we're doing. It is not a fair situation we're in. But decades of gluttony and environmental idiocy, quite frankly, is just wrong. And this, honestly, this is only the beginning. We got to start having these conversations. Because it's not just these resources. It's do you build, do you not build? Do you put a wind farm on Molokai, do you not? It's going to be everything. And what I would hope is that we would learn to dialogue more, yell at each other less, talk more, because it's not that we're not listening. Yes.
I guess what I want to listen to is what the seals want. And I'm speaking because I'm thinking about not the seals and not the sharks, but the anemones. And they decided that it was more important to save them, but because humans wanted to take over where they live, they stuck them up on Halakala. It's not where they live. They live down by the ocean. But now if you go down to the Central Plains and you drive Oluwalu into Lahaina, the natives will talk to you because they want to go home. They went back to their environment, which is where they belong. So, by us taking these seals, and if they would tell you that's where they wanted to go, then maybe there's time for dialogue and conversation. But I never hear what the seals want. I only hear what the scientific data has told you you need to do for them. We constantly address symptoms. We never address the actual problem. This is just a Band-Aid. Stick somebody with some painkillers for now. That's the way I see it, and that's just my opinion. And it's not that you're not trying to be doing something, you need to be doing something. And I hear from everybody else around on land, and I never hear what the seal. I don't see a huge migration of seals moving off over there, coming over here. I don't see a huge migration. They never show you where they like going. You picking it for them. And so, and all this Amapua talk here. Not everyone is for us. Not everyone is for us. We have one. So when we sit in the room and we cry, that's my Amapua, we gotta make sure that he's our Amapua. And we write, we don't talk about it. We don't tell you who they are. Because it's not for you guys to know. And it's not that we're trying to insult you or think that we're superior. It's something that's endearing to us. Yeah, it's endearing to us. And I never hear seals talking.
I see Kehaul raising her hand. You're going to answer for the seal?
My name is Kehaul from Kehaulani, and I'm now the Maui liaison for the Hawaiian Monk Seal, because NOAA, OIA, all these organizations want to know what the community thinks. Yes, there has been stuff in the past that we're talking right now. And I personally came into this because of where I live, where I've been. You know, I'm a Maui girl, born and raised. And I have seen more seals move into Kehaulani in the recent times. Like, we have maybe 3 or 4 that come to our area. And to me, that spoke to me. You know, I have always been a mountain girl, you know. I'm moving out to Kehaulani and really learning more about different aspects. So I am very open to listening, but I want people to have the right information. To me, that is so important because we can get so angry, so mad about misinformation. And this is me, and just my own personal opinion. And it's so wasted energy when we can find a better way. I guess that's my thing, because I want us to all have a better way of communicating and find out what's really going on, you know? And I am open to that. And that's the whole reason that I'm here tonight, is because I want to hear what everyone has to say. I do. And it's important to me that everybody does have their own information and their opinions and things like that. But for my own personal, is I feel like I have heard the seals. Because of the changes in the past 10, even the past 10 years, you know, just the past 10 years of the seals being more visual in our area. And I'm just talking about Kehaulani. That's all I'm talking about for my own personal opinion. And that's why I'm so passionate about saving them, because they are Hawaiian and they are coming back. So what can I do to help each aspect of it? And that's why I'm willing to put myself in the place of being the one to get yelled at, really, because I want to know how we can help our local community. I want to help my Hawaiians. That's why I'm putting myself in the place. But I want the community to know that I am open to finding out what is the right information. Oh, what, like we find out, okay, shoot, I will find out, like call you right back, meet up with you, meet with your bully, whatever it might be. But that's the thing, is, you know, there's so many flips to the coin and so many different angles that we can look at this thing. But it is something Hawaiian, you know, that for me, it's hard to let go of something. I mean, we can try. Even if it's just being a part of knowing what's happening around the world, or that there is a bigger amount of seals finding their own way back to Hawaii. Not that we're, or NOAA, or whoever is bringing it here, you know, but that they are coming on their own. So I just want to know, that's what I'm here for, is information, knowing, finding out the different opinions and things like that. So, sorry.
Okay, no, look, you made everybody's turn. Okay, you are first.
I had read an article at least 5 or 6 years ago about a rookery that has occurred in Molokai naturally. Can you address that? Because I couldn't get any information when I was in Molokai.
Okay, actually, there's a good place for you to answer that question. Just answer it and then stop.
We do see little pockets of spots where monk seals have. My name is David Scofield, by the way, and I do work for NOAA, but I don't have to. But we have Rabbit Island on Oahu. We have Lot Point and Leo Point, just call it pop up. There's Kaina Point on Oahu and places on Hawaii. And of course, where populations have seemed to grow on their own and at a rate of about 4% per year.
So did you say Molokai is this rookery?
They don't use the word rookery, it kind of means something different. But from Ilio Point to Lau Point, there's a constant number of about 15 to 20 seals.
I'm having a lot of trouble understanding some of what's going on because I don't know enough about Hawaiian culture. And I was here to find out about how the monk seals fit into Hawaiian culture. I apologize to this lady if you think that I'm trying to get your secrets. I'm not, and I'm not trying to be nosy. I'm trying to find out the connection of monk seals or how they figure. I think I know what an alakua is, but I probably don't. There's probably different levels of definition of that where I could understand what it is without sticking my nose in where it doesn't belong. I love all the critters here. I love Hawaii. I wish I were really Hawaiian. I can only tell you I'm Hawaiian at heart. And I really want to understand what the difficulties are with, it's not choosing one critter over another critter. Whatever it may be, I don't want to name one particular one because I don't want to start anything. But it's giving each critter their area to live in and helping to make their surroundings amenable to supporting them. I don't know if that's coming out clear. But and that's true of human beings too, but human beings, it seems to me, do more to where they are and take more from it, whether that's good or not good, I don't know.
I'll let her answer. No, she wants to answer, so I'll let her answer.
They're equal. What you refer to as critters is just as equivalent, if not superior to us. We depend on their well-being, so we can also thrive. And it always seems that wherever there's an impact, they're the problem. They become the problem. There's a problem there now. And the problem is pointed towards them. Instead, why don't we look inward to how this problem came about and solve the problem? Then, like, I'm not sure who said, that nature take its course, because they don't. That's why they come to Ke'anai. That's why they went to Molokai. They needed to go someplace for now, but no need they would stay there, because they came from some place. Yeah. So now we got to find out why they came here. If we never see them all that time, even my mother never see it, my grandma never see it, maybe my uncle before that saw. But why did they come? And back it up so we can solve the problem, not address what's simple. That's all I'm saying. What you say as far as critters is actually superior to us, we creatures. With the creeper crawlers that do these impacts.
just wanted to say something, sister. Thank you guys for coming because I've been one of those activists in the early 70s that's trying to figure out where our culture of the land take place to be educated in our schools. Hawaiian language, culture, ancient history, Palestine, genealogies, almakos. Yeah, I'm a fisherman. I come from a fisherman family. Our brother, the fishermen. As we get older, what I'm asking is that I'm not against what you guys are doing. I encourage my Hawaiian koko becoming doctorates. Because in our days, we never get doctorates. We have to be Hawaiian activists to fight the scientists. Like Pikio and Makena, Prince Hotel. When they built the hotel on top of the Hawaiian Trail. Ritz Carlton, I was the one that trained them. The Evi, Uncle S, the Manata, according to the NOAA. But I'm here so that we can educate our community, visitors alike, because it's our home. But we gotta look together at how we can see the imbalances. Yeah? Hey, from Egypt, everybody going, hey, Ohio, over there. Hey, Maine, everybody running away. They finally put the best spot in the Pacific. We know what Hawaii is. We don't need to go around, but the bottom line is, I thank you guys for doing this. It's not against you, sister. I'm proud because now I see my koko keiki, the young makua coming up and being part of the process. The bottom line is, it's not discriminatory. What we need to do now is educate ourselves, and bottom line about it all is, I think, there's so much information out there that Hawaiian language cannot capture it all. There's so much information out there that our Hawaiian history has been fragmented and cut short to a Western perspective and definition. There's so much history out there that we're learning from our family that, wow, I didn't know. I didn't know that there's 178 currents from Maui going to Kaulai. I didn't know that we had what you call the Sargasso Seas, 4 in the whole world. You know what is the Sargasso Sea, sister?
I have no idea what the Sargasso is.
There you go. So when you talk about the seals,
Okay, he knows.
when you first talk about the seals, currents, or drainages of the world, you know what it is? It's the whirlpool. And our kupuna had that knowledge. 4 whirlpools, the Sargassos, in the Mediterranean, the Pacific, the Atlantic. Go on, watch the turning fastness of those in the Sargasso, and watch those that move slow. Did you know that the Sargasso has a lot to do with all the currents? Do you know the currents of Hawaii? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. There's so much of kupuna knew as navigators, as voyagers, before Columbus. It's a record. We know that. And so, but we didn't know how to write our history after 1959. I'm one of them that got peed off to be on veteran, come home, and I gotta learn my culture all over. But I'm a fisherman for that. But I want to tell you guys, finally, continue the process, but don't forget, consultation. Consultation is the best process so that we can be at peace. Yeah. Hey, my children, I get Haole mixed up. I get Japanese, Filipino, Pakke. So I'm not here to talk about only Hawaiian. I'm talking about my children carry the blood of Hawaii too. So I just think, sister, do it, but be ready to be critiqued.
I came ready, so. But that's why. And it's why we have people on island. I mean, poor Kehal, she's only been on 6 weeks, but
okay.
Oh well, deep end of the pool, sister. So
I bow. Anyway,
yeah.
Thank you guys.
And I appreciate all of you being here because, I think for the volunteers did not, you know, you kind of went from 101 to grad level tonight. And it's very hard when I am the one brown girl in a room of 25 white men, sorry David, and NOAA trying to explain how serious this is in our community and how passionate it is. Because I kind of am, you know, the courting here is a who. I'm like the thing on the spec screaming sometimes. And so I appreciate this because I do think it's a learning experience for a lot of people who don't necessarily see this part of our community or often hear these dialogues, and I hope it's been interesting.
Let us go with you next time.
What? You know what?
Let us go with you
Come with
next
me,
time.
bro. No, for real. David, I'm bringing him. No, wait, he had questions. He asked, and then you asked, and then, okay, then Paul. Okay, wait, let him go first.
Oh, thank you. I just want to echo this about congratulating you guys and moving forward. But you got to walk all. You can't just go one. You got to go left and right. Yeah. And I don't like to review this, but I'm probably the longest environmental enforcement individual on this island. The Illinois 17 years, 32 years total with coastal zone management and SMA. I look at the issues of fines. So I see this island change. Yeah, I'm a harvester. I saw the whole change take place. Now, we have a critical tipping point. That's what I'm concerned about.
Yeah.
And the tipping point has to be addressed and not add more pressure on that tipping point. And by bringing these species in, you're going to create that fall tipping point in which we may not be able to recover. And that's all I'm concerned about. And you know, one thing I like to say about the Tito from Canada, I'm from Canada. My question is, when was the last time plenty Akuni came? One time. Remember when Akuni, one time used to come in. When the last time had one time of Akuni? 10 years. That's about when they started coming.
But we get enough for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, but you know, Honolulu used to get 1 ton coming there. Outside there, over 2 well, tons. I never see that happening over a decade.
You know, like had some, I mean, all different things affected. You know, not just one thing. And I mean, we had these, I'm not gonna say, but we had some people coming down Honolulu, shocking the water, doing all that kind of stuff, you know. So it's not just one thing, but
No, okay, don't answer. I was just direct traffic, sorry.
yeah, it's hard. And that's why she says it's a hard discussion.
No, and know that we're not here because we just like Monk Seal's coming in Hawaiian Islands. It is about the larger conversation. You know, this is not going to be the first resource question that comes up. And if we don't start addressing the core problems and how we're going to start to look at resources better, then we just putting out fires for the rest of the time. And we cannot. We have to stop doing that because it's exhausting. It's exhausting to the community. So no, we're not here because we just like Monk Seals. We're here because we're Hawaiian. This is our home. It's going to be, our kids ain't going anywhere. Like over my dead body with my kids be the ones that got to move because there's no work, no whatever. So it's about addressing core issues and making sure resources are available. But okay, she had her hand up, sorry.
Okay, I don't have a question, I have a statement.
Okay.
What I want to say is, I think we have a group here of some of the most educated people on this issue, sitting right here talking tonight. I read the newspaper every day, I go to these meetings all the time, I teach school, I'm out in the community, and yet, I have no clue. So my thought is, it is so important for the information to get out. Here we have the most educated people, and there were some misconceptions here that you brought out. The information has got to get out, whether it's going to be a TV show.
I totally agree. I've been on the job like 3 months. So, you know, I mean.
A meeting once a month with the community. Somehow the information has got to get out so that you don't have fights between people because they don't know what's going on. You know, I see these two really well-informed people looking over the paperwork right here at this meeting. Why isn't this out there that we all know already what's in there?
I mean, so then,
I can't help but wonder,
being mentioned earlier, I think there's a sensitivity to the monk seals, but that doesn't mean that what's happening now didn't happen before. If all of a sudden you're sensitive to something and now you're starting to take pains to find out what's going on, does that mean it's changed just because of that? Okay, wait, I'm not finished yet. And the other thing was, as you can see, that in this whole room, not too many people are in favor of this idea, for whatever reasons. So I'd like to know what prompted NOAA to support action like this. And I mean, I'm looking at the plan that you folks came with that was announced. And I'm seeing this plan, somewhat of a plan already made. We were not included in the decision process. And this information is being brought forward. Tonight I came to find out what was going on. I'm totally confused from the beginning. But now that I figured out that what you want to do is try to save the monk seals by moving them away from the home, their home, sounds so much like the reservation ideas. And you have to go back to that governing factor. Who is in control of these organizations? They're making decisions based on their information that they think is right. And in the long run, what happens? The reservation wasn't a good idea.
Okay, so a couple of things, and let me start out with some information. The translocation is a very small subset of recovery things. What prompts recovery? Petitions and lawsuits, right? I mean, so to even get on the ESA or MMPA, there were organizations, conservation organizations that petitioned to put this animal on the ESA or MMPA. Some of the things that are coming up, some of the most programmatic activities are prompted by either lawsuits or threats of lawsuits, and I don't want to get it wrong.
There is the scientific study of an animal falling between a sustainable level. I think, to jump in here a little bit, is that what NOAA is tasked to do as a management agency is to not allow this animal to go extinct. And we have a recovery plan that's about 100 pages long. It talks about all kinds of different things, like removing hooks from seal stomachs and helping them out. The translocation, which everybody is really focused on, is the one that has gotten a lot of attention. That is an idea that is being discussed and looked at, and we're seeking input. And so the idea of why are we just hearing about some of this stuff now, and why aren't we tapping into the brain trust of people, is that because, and I'll admit, I work for NOAA. NOAA, whether they figured it out a long time ago or just recently figured out that they can't just rely on their science, and that they have to look at people who have traditional knowledge and have something else to say. And that is why, we have reached out to people like the Kehaus and other practitioner and community leaders across the islands. And so we're just starting this now. So
and I think that's a really good point. We're a pilot project. We're not what NOAA does. NOAA doesn't make a habit of consulting with communities, cultural people at all. We're not the MO for the federal government. We are, this concept that they've decided to, maybe this is a good idea. So all of what we're doing is pretty new for all of us.
So I guess look at you can say what you want about the federal government and agree or disagree, but I think the light bulb has gone off on top of our heads and we're saying, hey, we need to do this. And so this is our first attempt at trying to do this.
You guys are kind of communicating, so he's jumping up.
He gonna let me go first.
Okay, she said you will let it go first. Okay.
I want to thank you folks. I want to also remind you where you guys come from. You sit and consult with them. And there's this Trojan horse in the room. It's called Divide and Conquer. When some of us talk, I see your just enraged. And I don't know where they come from. If we're going to have more conversation, we should. And I'm willing to sit and talk to you. Because you cannot only sit in one room with only them and then be made to present it to us. they got something to say, they come talk to us. Yeah, if you have something to tell us, you come tell us. No send the tokens. Yeah, we all gotta yell at her. Yeah, but she doesn't deserve that. She's trying to love her father for what he's respected and wanting to, how he wants to live. And so now she has this battle with it. You're creating that. And I don't appreciate that. Because I think we need to talk, we really do. I so mahalo you folks, yeah? Because you guys get that passion, yeah? And you guys get all that you guys get what we also want. We all work for the same side. We all working for the same reason, yeah? Except they were rich. Yeah, and so now there was trust factor that sometimes gets in the way. And we shouldn't have to, I don't know you enough not to trust me. Yeah? And you don't know enough of me that when I say something then you gotta be mad at me. Yeah? I don't think we all know each other that well yet. I'm a foster enough that he would let me speak first. And I just make you right of that because I want a conversation with all.
Okay, Andy, you're right.
And they need to understand where we're coming from, yeah, without the interference or the influence. Because if you truly want that knowledge and want that understanding, then you need to factor that out to the world and come back home without that.
Well, and I'll say this. This was not supposed to be that dialogue with the community. We've not had the opportunities to set stuff up. This was, I was on island and they asked me to speak and, I got so much more than I bargained for. But Foster, go.
Okay.
Foster does know me.
Okay, Jocelyn actually did a good training into what I want to suggest. Because I never like to leave a discussion without the remedy. Now whether we accept it or adopt the remedy is a whole different story. But maybe the meeting that we should have, and maybe you want to adopt the Ahumoko concept. The meeting needs to be during the daytime, let it make it all day, not in the evening, only a couple hours when everybody can work. And I know, like you said,
And it's just that other people work too, right? So I mean, I'll come, but you gotta tell me.
No.
Yeah.
But my suggestion is this, Kehaulani, is hold a meeting on every island with each moko. Invite the 25 scientists. Invite the families from all the different Ahupua'as and mokos. We have that meeting. That way we can talk to each other. They can actually hear it from us. And it doesn't have to go through you, vice versa. And then, your brain's going to explode. You get all these, you're getting false crack left and right. But my point is being this, and I agree with everybody. I commend you for what you're doing. Don't stop. Okay, we wouldn't be who we are if we never stand you up and call you out. Or, and we saw you Tita come out too, because you would, you're like, well, but all that is good. But what I'm saying is,
just so you guys know, I'm not just because I'm ready,
right.
ready tired.
But that's how we like it. But, and this is to what this Malini said, which is really important, is that she wants to understand more about the culture and the people. What we want her is to come into a meeting with the Ampong. And then you can lay everything out. The 25 scientists from NOAA or however much can come and lay the sign out, and then we can express ourselves. So you will actually have the experience and not just the word of mouth.
I will say this. We only last week got even the okay to even move forward past where we are now. So that's part of it is, it's not like, there really is $16 billion and NOAA has instructed all of us to run around. There's not. This is, we're trying something out as part of something bigger. So I can advocate for that, but honestly, we only last week got, okay, go, you go try, you might get your head bitten off.
I just want to say that NOAA is just, this is the beginning for us, and we're not trying to put the K-House out in front to, shield. We're trying to understand what the questions and concerns are from the community, interpret that to us because we're dumb scientists that live in a vacuum, and so we are trying to understand the territory in which we need to come and listen and understand. It kind of goes both ways. And I am learning a lot from Kehau and others that she's introducing me to, and so are my other colleagues. And so we're trying.
I think, you know, the good element, a good ingredient is sponsor a puka. Make it a little paina where everybody can come and be comfortable at home. Doesn't have to be formal. But, you know, you take one whole community and then you have a paina and then everybody can sit down, relax, eat, and then we can talk. And then you can, you know, that's what we need. That's the dialogue that we need. Because like this, it's going to get confrontational. You know, by nature, that's inherent.
I'm gonna let Richard go, you had his hand up, and then I'll be after you. Go ahead.
Hello, my name's Richard, and I live in Omaha. I don't know why I drove all the way down here today. I'm a member of the public, and I received a fantastic blessing while I was in this room, and I want to share it with you because I think it's really germane to what everybody's talking about. I was sitting in front of Uncle Les when he spoke. And I don't know if you noticed, but he had me by the neck.
I was hoping he knew you. I did see that.
And I'm still hoarse from it.
You're not trying.
But what happened is that I could feel his energy as he spoke. And I could sense from the different things he said, I think, and I hope I'm understanding the message is right, I think he was telling all of us that this is a bigger issue than monk seals and sharks. That there are fundamental things that we need to recognize and think about and talk about before we even get to that level. And when I felt it the most when he was talking about Kapuna, Mahamoku, and I think that I could feel that it's really necessary for all of us. And I've got blue eyes, I'm not a scientist, but we need to all understand that as a stepping stone to anything we do that has to do with Waianae, whether it has to do with the Aina, the ocean, the things that live on the island and the ocean. And it seemed to me kind of like that's missing from maybe this project at this point. And I'm not being critical, that's just my observation. And I know there are people in the room that have spoken a lot better about this than I can. But unless we get back to basics of being mono, I think that, you know, I can see why people are nervous that man who has driven this wrecking machine all over the world is now saying, let us try again. We've got a better idea now. We're going to step in and take our wrecking machine and try to make something work. We're all nervous about that. But when you have the energy that Uncle Les has about these topics, I think it's really a mistake for us not to thrive upon that and understand that's the basic thing that needs to happen before we talk about any of the rest of this. Thank you.
Mike, the reason why we do, but our main reason and purpose was because of this PEI. We have gone through so much. We know there's a timeline. Being this information is out, how much time do we have? This is January 2011. That's why we came here. We came here vocal because we read through this, we don't agree with it, and there's Ahakiole in here already. And it's like, okay, but does everybody know what's going on? Nobody, half the people didn't realize that all these fishermen got paid off for moving out from there. And the reason why fishermen have a hard time with seals
is because they're aggressive. They want the same fish the fishermen want. We're gonna get depleted. People are screaming at us because they're thinking all the fishermen are just eating the ocean. No, it's everybody that eats it. It's every animal. For us, what we do is we get the information out to people. We try to do our best. But we are just too busy. Yamoko and I need to inform the community of things so they know what is going on. This issue is really hot. For people that grew up around seals, not including Hawaiians, I grew up with them. They look like pohaku on the beaches. You walk up to them, they stand up on their two hands, and they attack you. People don't know those sides of it. They need to know the bad and the good. They need to know that there are plans for them to come to these islands beyond their knowledge. Mankind is moving around in nature. We need to stop doing that. The system, our lifestyle is being depleted. Our way of life, we cannot pass to our next generation the way we were brought up. Because mankind is ruining it as we speak. We cannot go back and say, we know we did wrong, how can we fix it? It's already done. We can move forward in the right way, in a positive way, to see it happen in the future. So my question now, being that these two information are out, how much time do we have to get out to them? Because I know it's 45 days. There's a window of 45 days for scoping and all of this. But it's, how much time do we have to get out to the community? Because you're one person. We try our best. So how are we going to get this information, the right information, to people? Because
I guess I'm confused. What do you think is going to happen? Like, how much time for what? What do you think is coming?
To have a conversation on the dislikes and likes, because everybody needs to know.
So on the PEIS, I mean, because there's, and I guess that's what I started with. There are so many moving parts on this, right?
Oh
We
yeah.
have nothing to do with the PEIS. That is,
What is that PEIS?
yeah, the programmatic environmental impact statement, which is the full recovery program, right? So that's,
It's a plan.
it's a plan that looks at potential recovery activities, of which translocation is one. So it is now, and I am not on that project, so I don't want to speak too much on it, but it is, so they have done the scoping period. There will be a draft PEIS released, and she's right, it is an Alaskan company doing it, and I will just not comment on that. And then the draft goes out, then there's a final goes out. Any of the activities in there, then, correct me if I'm wrong, David, then subsequently need budget and permits, and not necessarily in that order.
Well,
So
analysis, budget, and permits. So this is looking at different tools that may be implemented. There needs to be an analysis of it. There's scientific analysis, and then there's also analysis of impact to the community. And that, so there will be discussions.
In other words, this is for compliance so that they can fulfill what they want to do. Correct?
Yes.
No,
This is for compliance, correct?
Well, it's compliant, it's more about to determine whether or not this tool is a worthy tool for recovery.
But what that thing is titled as is a requirement for your compliance so you can move to your next step. Correct?
If we determine that the tool, for example, of translocation is a viable tool, we're going through the process in the event that it is deemed a tool that would be useful for the recovery of the species.
Who makes that decision?
There are scientists involved, and there are meetings that are going to take into account, the socioeconomic impact. There's a whole broad spectrum analysis of it.
Who's going to make the record?
Who makes a decision?
Who's the record of decision? Who's going to make that?
The record of decision on the EIS or the permits, right? Because that's what's hard. You're talking like 3 years of activities, right? So this is one, and this is, I guess, CEQ. right, besides this. But then past that, there's there's a whole, it's just so mammoth that it's, and I think that's what's hard about all of it getting confused, right? Tonight was just like lecture, general, and not at all about the PEIS, because that's not, certainly not what any of us are involved in, and we're not involved in that. So we're not, I guess it's hard to have that conversation because that's not our dialogue.
Okay, so who's the applicant then?
No. National Marine.
No, actually, the applicant, right?
Okay, so we're having a discussion, this is application going through, and, forgive me, but it kind of feels like, okay, keep talking to the people that may be opposing this idea. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and see this through. So we're saying, wait a minute, before you even do that, let's talk. Let's have our conversation. But you see, that's why, I guess what I'm trying to illustrate is that this is possibly one of the ways how this confusion begins.
And I think we need to go back and discuss.
Yeah, because, and I'll say this, any conversations that have to do with the PEIS, I can't from even a legal standpoint have those because there's this separate Alaskan contractor that, so we have that. People want to come, that's not there are people who are not me who have that conversation. I'm not explaining that well at all, but that's not a conversation I can legally have, right? Is that a way of putting it?
See, that's why there's this, you see, we're sensing all of this dynamics, that are potentially very harmful and detrimental to what our concerns are. And so we're talking about a process right here of communication, of conversing. And so if Alaska, how does Alaska have to do with Hawaii? It's kind of Hawaii, right? Okay, so and I know you cannot comment on that, and I know I know you understand where I'm going with this. But what I'm saying, and I guess I should be addressing this to NOAA, you know what? This whole thing needs to stop right now, and this needs to be fixed before we take one more step further. Because if this is going through, then you know what? It's just like behind a bypass. Talk to the people. We already made the decision. We already got the, things going through.
We don't like being.
And we don't like being played like that.
We come right out now. Now that we see all of this, we think they're all together, so that's why we're here. But it's a good thing that everybody hears it, everybody gets it out, everybody understands it. We're not after one person. We're after the answer.
Yeah.
Who do we talk to? Where do we go? Why is it happening? Because we came across this. If we're at the wrong meeting, come to my help. Sorry about that. But anything about seals, we're on top of it because we're always last.
And that's why when you talk about the manuals, they're kind of like, hey, wait a minute. We came here to address this.
Okay, and then that's the confusion. That's
Yeah.
what you do.
Yeah, right, just a final. The applicant is not Hawaii. The applicant is not from Hawaii. The applicant is not from Polynesia. The applicant is not from Polynesia. The applicant is not from Maui. The applicant is not from Oahu. The applicant is from ice cube country, Alaska. That's where I see seals, penguins, polar bears jumping into that. I couldn't stand the chant that you said because I knew the applicant was from Alaska.
Okay, so let me just, that's not, the applicant is not from Alaska.
Wait,
The contractor.
Wait a minute.
I'm sorry that I was asked to do a prayer.
I understand, but it would be so nice.
And the context for that was on.
But I just said my word. The applicant is from Alaska.
And that's not correct.
Period.
The contractor who is writing the report is from Alaska.
Well, the contractor is Alaska, whatever.
But it makes a difference. Yeah, I mean, okay, so I think, okay.
You gotta finish, this is what ranks that caps everything that we're doing. It's something that caps everything that we're talking about. Yeah, I vote for it.
Yeah.
How much have you guys heard of HAARP? H-A-A-R-P. Go on the computer now, go check it tonight. Check it. They are able to control the weather. They're controlling the weather by sonar and microwave antennas on Earth and in the sky. They're cutting lesions in the ionosphere, allowing hot air to come in, and that's why the weird weather. Now, what they're doing, when the lesion doesn't close, they're dropping copper, tin, and aluminum phosphines in the air to shield it back. It's landing all over here. They're inundating Maui. How much of you know that Bill Gates bought into Monsanto?
Yeah.
Okay, Bill Gates bought into Monsanto. He's the CEO. Guess who's the third party? And they're here every Saturday. Blackwater Security. Okay? Blackwater Security is on Maui. Half of this is federal initiatives. Go on HAARP. Okay? Then go on to YouTube. What in the world are they spraying? Go on. There's one on Hana. Coconut trees are rotting to the core. 200 head of cattle died in Ulupalakua in the last 10 days. Norovirus in Kihei, 19 kupuna are in the hospital right now. Norovirus. Wake up. Something is happening. It caps all of this. And we gotta be able to take this to the legislators. What I'm working on now is all money, researching the samples that we took. You see this stuff breaking out of my arm? It's happening to people with O positive blood. It's coming out of their legs. I got kids that are, it's all over the face. Go to NCC and the switchboard operator has it all over her body. The ill effects, okay? Strange snow on Hawaiian, no clouds. You know, when ice fall on Olinda and in Lahaina on the same day in January. Okay? Never happened in the history of Hawaii. Ice falling in the pin. Hail balls. Okay. Two earthquakes in 6 weeks on the bottom of Kao'olawe in January. You think it was strange? Yeah? Birds falling out of the sky in Dakota. Not eagles, not owls, not robins, only black crows. Menpachi coming out on the beach in Kauai. Not seals, not turtles, not sharks, only Menpachi. Okay? They're breaking down the nanofibers in fiber optic. They're breaking it down and they're spraying it. It's all over us. Check the chemtrails. What is the website you're going to check tonight? HAARP. The second one is YouTube. What in the world are they spraying? Hana. The third one, if you want to get into it, dial in farmwars.com. It's all over. And you know, a lot of people don't want to hear this. Why are they doing it to Hawaii? Because the sovereign issue is so close. America is saying, you want to take it, we're going to burn it. You guys are not going to have anything. They've developed a Terminator seed already. And that's what's happening in Mount Salsa. That Terminator seed is propagated on the islands. It'll kill everything. Grass, miley, pohole, coconuts, bananas, everything. Everything will die. And I asked this operator, CIA now. I'm an ex-law enforcement officer. Well, what about the howlers in Wailean, Kalapale, Kapu? They're expendable. They're expendable. Go on the computer tonight. This is all secondary level. We gotta come together and say, stop this stuff. It's over. We all have it. It's all in our lungs right now. Farm wars. What the heck? What in the world are they spraying YouTube and HARP? HARP. It's high frequency allurinal research project. When Al Gore was vice president, the biggest thing he wanted before he exited was global warming. The technology is in place right now. It's actually working. 2 foot of snow during Super Bowl in Texas? Give me a break. Something's going on. They're dialing in Hawaii, and the Pineapple Express, which they cannot control, goes all the way to the mainland. They cannot control it yet, but they're dialing it in. And they're using us as guinea pigs. And you know what the sick people just found out this week? Aloha Airlines is a converted jet that's spraying this stuff on us.
Oh, that's good. Extra spray.
They're spraying this on us. Phosphines, copper, tin, aluminum, nanofibers. It'll start breaking out pretty soon. I'm in the middle of this analysis so we can bring it forward. But you're right. How does one bring this forward? We can't even get this in a Monk Seal, let alone these wacko talking about nanofibers. Who's going to believe me? Who's going to believe them about the seals? This is serious. Getting the information out, vital information that is a health hazard to us all, which can cause a pandemic, nobody knows how to do it. Nobody knows. Look it up, Kapu. The only thing we can do is go on a Kapu and try to get a 5-minute segment and then repeat it. And is this YouTube?
Could be.
Put it on YouTube.
With your permission.
Put it on YouTube. People gotta know. When we fight not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers of darkness in high places. Thank you.
And I think that's the place to end it.